This is the EWS0849KB from Wertheim of Austria. Now this is a grade 5 safe rated for core drill resistance. And when we say core drill, we're referring to a diamond core drill, which is one of the most potent rotary attack tools a burglar can use against a safe. You may be familiar with a diamond core drill being used in the Hatton Garden robbery, for example. This type of safe is made to resist that tool, and this is the smallest one of these safes in a range of sizes from Wertheim of Austria. This is the highest attack level resistance that Wertheim make. Now this safe is 848 millimeters high, 645 millimeters wide and 565 millimeters deep. It has 110 litres of internal capacity and it weighs 665 kilos. So even though it's the smallest in the range, it's still a very, very substantial safe. Now all of these safes are anchored using a bolt similar to this one, and this bolt is used with a method to achieve at least 100 kilonewtons of anchoring force, which is over 10 tons of anchoring force. So with this safe, you've got 665 kilos of weight held in place by over 10 tons of anchoring force. So really, it's an immovable object for most circumstances. Now, I'm just going to show you inside the safe, and I'll bring you through some of the alarm integration features. First off, I just want to show you the fact there are two locks on this door. Any safe over grade 3 is required to have two locks. It's part of the certification. And this lock we're using on this particular safe is the Sergeant Greenleaf Titan direct drive lock. But it's one of a range of locks we use with all of our safes that is integratable with your alarm system. One of the key features we use with the locks is duress. Duress means that we can hook the lock up directly to your alarm system, and if you're put under duress, you can use a special code to open your safe. You vary one of the digits by 1 and set off a silent alarm which alerts the police. It's a panic alarm. No one knows you've done that because the safe operates as normal. Now I'm just going to open the safe using the default code. The bottom lock is already open, and open this very substantial door to let you have a look inside, and particularly to look at the door. I mean, the door is monstrous. It is really huge. It has these solid steel bolts all the way down the side that run all the way back into the body. There is one at the top, there's one at the bottom, and we have 3 fixed bolts on the rebate, and they lock into the frame. So the bolts lock into the frame all the way around. Okay? Now, as regards alarm integration, one of the simplest things that's on most Wertheim safes is there is an alarm cutout at the top of the door of the safe. So that allows you add an alarm sensor to the door and more or less treat this safe as a separate zone on your alarm, like you would a room. So you can monitor when it opens and closes, or say, for example, I disable that zone, I don't want anyone opening the safe, and that will set off an alarm. The safe also has seismic sensor mounts on the inside of the door and on the inside of the body. Now, a seismic sensor is a particularly potent alarm device in that it detects any kind of physical attack on the safe. So we have an immovable object here. Let's say the safe is all locked up. Someone is going to have to attack it with a tool. A seismic sensor will detect any type of drilling attack, prizing attack, cutting attack, heat attack, anything like that. And because we have 2 seismic sensors, we have a verified alarm. Because under EN 50131 in Ireland, to get a police response, we need to have 2 sensors trigger for a verified alarm response. So that's what we have within the safe. And the really, really cool thing about seismic sensors, just briefly, is the fact that they're always on. So even if it was a case that you forgot to put your alarm system on, or maybe it was during trading hours, you were a business and the safe was on a separate floor and someone managed to attack the safe, even with the alarm system switched off, the seismic sensors are always on, and they will trigger the minute this safe is attacked with any type of tool. Now, with all of these alarm devices we use with these safes, they're all cabled. they are never wireless, because wireless devices are too unreliable for our purposes here. Wireless devices can have battery faults because they're battery powered, they can have signal issues, things like that. All of these are wired, and the cabling for the alarm devices is carried along a VDS certified alarm cable channel. So if we have devices inside the door, they run along inside the door, and if you look on the inside of the hinge there, you'll see a little silver cable. That's called a draw cable, and that's for drawing those cables back through the body of the safe. So the cable is protected all the way along to the same level as the safe and out the back of the safe to your alarm system. So that means that there's no door loop on the safe blocking your view or advertising the fact that the safe is integrated with your alarm. But if anyone did discover that cable and breaks the cable, you have 2 alarm devices at least go off, and you have an instant police response. So really it's a foolproof way of wiring up high-end safes. Now, just to briefly look at the certification here, we have 2 certification badges. The top one is VDS, they're a German certification body, and the bottom one is ECBS, also a German certification body. And you'll notice in small print at the bottom of the VDS badge and at the top of the ECBS badge in bigger print that these bodies are both accredited to ISO IEC 17065. Now, that is the European accreditation for these bodies as certifiers. So we know that when they certified this safe, there was no bias in the certification, there was no collusion with the testing body, it was all done under European law, and that these bodies are regularly audited. So we know we can rely on that type of certification. And that type of certification will always appear on a stamped metal plate, never a sticker. Now, just to close the safe up, we'll draw the bolts, close the door over. Now, as I said, we have 2 locks here. I'm just going to close the bottom lock and the top lock, and we get 2 beeps and we know it's all locked up. Now, it is of course possible to have 1 keypad controlling 2 locks. That's entirely up to you. So this is the highest level of attack resistance. It's actually very popular for a lot of our high-end home clients, also very popular with jewelers or anyone who deals with things like jewellery or gold bullion.